You are standing right at the edge of a dying forest. The ancient trees are thinning out around you quite fast. The sweet fruit from last season is completely gone by now. The deep roots are much harder for you to find. The tired group behind you has not eaten for days. Two of the children are silent in a very scary way. Somewhere out ahead, a very large animal is moving slow. You have never eaten anything like it in your life. You have never even tried to hunt it until now. But you must make a very big decision right now. This choice will echo for hundreds of thousands of years. You do not know that because you are just hungry. That is how the human diet changed for good. It did not start with a great plan or idea. It started with a moment of very deep hunger. The old rules of survival simply stopped working for them. We talk about eating meat like it had to happen. We think early humans just looked at the wild animals. We think they checked the nutrition and made a choice. We think our ancestors decided plants were not enough anymore. So, they upgraded their food source to big game. That popular story is completely wrong about our past history. It is wrong in a way that changes everything fast. It changes how you understand the human story today. The real story of meat eating is not about progress. It is a story about big disasters and hard change. It is about a species forced into a corner. Humans became something they had never been before this moment. The results of that desperate moment are still in you. Your body still feels that ancient choice right now. Let us start with something that people often skip over. For a very long time, our ancestors were not hunters. They were not even interested in hunting wild animals at all. The very earliest members of our human family walked upright. They used simple tools and lived in close social groups. They mostly ate plants, fruit and sweet leaves. They also ate roots, tubers, seeds and some nuts. They ate an insect or an egg when found. This was not a failure of their creative minds. It was a perfect survival strategy for millions of years. It worked well for many different ancient primate groups too. We shared this lifestyle with chimps and wild gorillas. Plants are a very reliable source of food energy. Plants do not run away from you in fear. They do not fight back and cause bad injuries. They do not require teamwork or dangerous physical risk either. Hunting can burn more calories than it gives back. For a smart but fragile species, plants were great. The proof for this plant diet is very strong. We see it in fossil teeth from early species. These ancient humans walked Africa millions of years ago. Their teeth show wear from eating hard plant parts. They chewed on tough seeds and very thick roots. Their enamel was thick, and their molars were broad. Their jaw structure was built for grinding tough food. These were definitely not the sharp teeth of a predator. They belonged to creatures that spent days chewing green plants. Scientists also study carbon isotopes inside these old bones. The carbon tells us exactly what an animal ate. The bones point overwhelmingly to a lot of plant food. This plant diet was consistent for millions of years, but here is where the story gets very interesting. Most people ask when humans started eating meat. That is actually the wrong question to ask here. We should ask when meat became a reliable food source. We need to know what made that big change happen. Those are two very different steps in human history. Finding meat by chance happened very early in our past. Early humans took meat from dead animals they found. Marks on animal bones from Ethiopia prove this fact. They used sharp stones to cut meat from bones. This happened long before humans became active hunters in groups. Occasional scavenging is not the same thing as hunting. It is not a real dietary strategy for survival. The gap between those two behaviors is truly huge. Moving across that gap required much more than hunger. It required a new kind of pressure from the world. That pressure came directly from the changing weather skies. Then on the instant, Turinstukrained. 2 million years ago, Earth's climate changed fast. Global temperatures went up and down very suddenly. Great ice sheets expanded across the northern land. The African continent became very dry and very hot. The vast tropical forests began to shrink away quickly. Great grasslands and savannas grew in their place. This slow transformation changed what was available to eat. The fruits and leaves became very hard to find. The reliable food foundation began to wash away fast. A plant-based diet was no longer practical for them. But those new grasslands filled up with something new. Large herds of grazing animals moved across the plains. Enormous amounts of protein and fat walked the earth. The landscape took away plants but added wild animals. The only problem was that this food was fast. It was dangerous and completely new to our ancestors. This is the exact moment where everything changed forever. It was not a grand invention or cultural choice. It was a slow crisis for these small primates. They were smart but physically weak on the ground. They stared at big animals they could not kill. The safe forests behind them were disappearing so fast. What they did next was not heroic at all. It was actually a very humbling way to live. Our ancestors became basic scavengers on the open savanna. They followed real predators like lions and fast leopards. They watched hungry hyenas and waited for their turn. When the big predators were full, humans moved in. They grabbed whatever meat was left on the bones. They used sharp stones to crack open large bones. They wanted the rich marrow inside the deep bone. Regular carnivores could not reach that hidden marrow fat. Humans scraped meat from joints and ate very fast. They were nervous and watched out for danger constantly. This is not a pretty picture of human history, but it is what the scientific evidence shows us today. We started our relationship with meat very slowly. We were anxious scavengers, not powerful apex predators. Yet, something big was happening inside their bodies. They were getting access to a brand new food. They found animal fat in those deep marrow cavities. This calorie-rich fat is vital for big brains. The human brain requires a lot of daily energy. It uses 20% of our total energy budget, but it only makes up 2% of weight. Maintaining that brain requires very high-quality calories. Plant diets in dry environments could not provide enough. Bone marrow is 90% pure fat for energy. It is the most calorie-dense food on the land. The fossil record shows a clear trend after this. Brain size began to grow larger and larger fast. The human skull shape changed to hold more brain. The neural connections became much more complex over time. The link between meat and brain growth is strong. This correlation has been studied for many decades. We may have literally eaten our way to intelligence. Desperation led us to the right food choices then. But scavenging has some very dangerous limits for humans. It is not reliable and puts you in danger. You must fight other fierce animals for old food. A group of humans cannot beat a hyena pack. Scavenging requires too much luck to work forever. At some point, the balance began to shift. Humans stopped waiting for other predators to hunt food. They started killing the large animals for themselves. This shift to active hunting is written in stone. New hand axes appeared in the archaeological record. These tools show a big leap in human thinking. Making these axes requires a lot of careful planning. You must see the final tool inside the rough stone. Hunting large animals requires that exact same mental skill. You must predict how a wild animal will move. You must work together with other hunters out there. The tools and hunting strategies grew up together. They are two sides of the very same coin. Ancient wooden spears were found buried deep in Germany. These spears are direct proof of engineered hunting weapons. They were balanced perfectly to fly straight through air. The people who made them understood basic physics well. They were true hunters, not just simple scavengers now. The sites show evidence of very large horse kills. This was organized hunting on a very big scale. Something fundamental had changed in the human mind forever. The shift to hunting changed how humans lived daily. Think about what group hunting really demands from people. You must talk and coordinate with your team members. Hunting in groups is much safer and highly efficient. You must share deep knowledge about animal habits today. You must plan ahead and scout out good locations. You must divide the work among the group well. Some people track animals while others make the kill. Then you must share all the fresh meat fairly. One large animal provides too much food to waste. Wasting calories means death in a harsh world. Hunting restructured the entire social life of early humans. It forced humans to develop much better language skills. It created strong social bonds and systems of sharing. Cooperative hunting made us the smartest primates on Earth. We did not just start eating wild animals daily. We organized our whole society around the hunt itself. This loop ran for hundreds of thousands of years. There is another huge part of this old story. It has to do with the control of fire. Fire appears in the human record 1,000,000 years ago. Fire provided warmth, light, and safety from wild beasts. But the dietary benefits of cooking were truly amazing. Cooking changes the structure of raw meat completely. It breaks down tough tissues so we can chew. It kills dangerous bacteria that make us very sick. It makes the protein much easier to digest well. Cooked meat gives you more energy than raw meat. Cooking was a massive technological leap for early humans. When you cook food, you get more energy fast. More energy means less time spent chewing raw plants. Modern humans spend very little time chewing food today. Other great apes chew for many hours every day. This extra time was used for better things instead. Humans spent hours talking, learning, and teaching their children. Fire did not just cook meat, it cooked time. It freed up hours for early human social life. They planned futures and grew more human every day. But this story does not end cleanly at all. The shift to meat came with some big costs. Our ancestors could not see these problems coming down. Some of those old costs are still with us. Hunting large animals was always a very dangerous job. Giant mammoths and cave bears fought back very hard. Human bones are often found broken near animal sites. The hunt killed many young people back then. Group hunting also created new fights over hunting grounds. The ancient record shows a lot of human conflict. Meat-eating intensified competition between different human groups. But the biggest cost was paid by nature itself. Wherever humans went, the large animals died out fast. The timing of these extinctions is very disturbing today. Mammoths and giant sloths disappeared right after humans arrived. The animals had never met a predator like us before. They did not know how to fear our spears. They had no defense against a group of humans. The animals simply ran out of time to adapt. Our most successful adaptation was also very destructive indeed. We eliminated species that lived for millions of years. We did not mean to cause harm back then. We were just very hungry down in the forest. You still carry this ancient history in your body. Your deep craving for fat and protein is hardwired. The satisfaction from eating meat is a biological legacy. It comes from thousands of years of intense evolutionary pressure. Our ancestors had to find these rich foods to survive. The social rituals around meat are very old too. The backyard barbecue is an echo of the past. Sharing meat helped our ancestors build safe communities together. It triggers ancient software inside our modern brains today. It makes us feel safe and full inside now. But we must look at the modern world too. That ancient appetite is now scaled up massively. 8 billion people eat meat using giant industrial systems. This hunger drives water loss and massive climate change. The desperate choice made long ago has changed direction. It made us smart enough to build our world, but it brought us to another dangerous moment today. The global climate is shifting once again fast. Our species is trying to adapt to new limits. We are not at the forest edge anymore. We are running out of time to fix things. Our ancestors had no plan, just deep hunger. They had each other and smart brains to try. That was enough to save them back then. The big question today is if that is enough.